you got to let your best player be the decision maker. And when that comes, the ball has to be in Joey's hand. It has to be his decision with it. You know, we saw it on the pick six against Bama. While he threw the pick six, that play wasn't his decision. You know, it was miles or nothing. Mm-hmm. But you flip it to last week, you had a similar thing at the end of the half. All of a sudden, you drop back pass, he makes the right decision, hits Ethan Davis, touchdown. Like, all the big moments in this game when we're on offense, it has to be Joey's decision. Otherwise, we're going to lose.
It's week 10 and we are almost to November. Time flies. Much like the fourth quarter of every game we play, November is what I would like to call winning time. Playoff bids are at stake across the country, including on Saturday night in Neyland. It's dark mode. Oklahoma is in town, and we are back with more steam. I'm Thomas Wharton. Nico.
What's going on?
Dude, you're a staple.
I know.
You are a staple. I had no other co-host the rest of the year. Maybe. We'll see. Welcome back. Kentucky. Again, not a recap show. Let's just briefly touch on it. Our offense is a formidable force, man.
Yeah, they come out guns blazing and put it to teams, but man, defense is.
You made a point right before we went on air. I'd like you to make it on air.
What if we had last year's defense and this year's offense? Are we the number one team in the country?
I think in the alternate universe, 100%, especially this year outside of Ohio State, there's not really like a juggernaut. I think Ohio State's a buzzsaw, just like they kind of turned into last year. But yeah, we're sitting probably undefeated, bare minimum one loss, real pretty if we have those units. And the craziest part to me is like, we didn't lose all that many people.
No.
On the defensive side, we lost James Pierce, but I think everybody, including myself, even would say that was almost like a net positive with some of the locker room issues that he was supposedly having.
We didn't lose anybody else. I mean, we lost Omar, who was a beast.
Correct.
But like, the problem was we brought back guys and then they got hurt.
Yeah.
Jermod, Ricky, David missed a lot of time. Mm-hmm. He's back now, but.
I mean, are we ever going to see Jermod? Who knows? No speculation. Let's get into the week ahead. The Vols are 6-2. Everything's still in front of us. Maybe not the SEC championship, because you got Texas A&M rolling, you got Alabama rolling. But from a playoff perspective, everything's in front of us. Talk about that more later. Let's look at the week ahead. Not a great slate. 2 weeks ago was just the greatest college football slate of all time. Now we're slowing down a little bit. A top 20 matchup. And if I told you preseason that this was a top 20 matchup, you probably would have flipped the rankings in your head. You have number 9 Vanderbilt at number 20 Texas. Texas surviving a thriller in Starkville, much like maybe the Vols earlier this year. Improbable comeback. I got to catch the fourth quarter and on of that game. I mean, they went from being dead in the water to turning that offense and defense on like almost a snap of the fingers. Arch Manning's potentially hurt. Interesting little game we got in Austin.
Yeah, I mean, Diego Pavio's got that train rolling in Nashville. It pains me to say. Texas, I mean, they're lucky to be where they're at, for lack of better terms. Arch Manning might be hurt based on how he's played this year. Is that really a downgrade? Like,
oh boy.
If you're them, do you want a guy that nobody has film on playing this game and what, is the most important game of your season, arguably, until Thanksgiving rivalry for them? I don't know.
Who knows? And that guy, he's still a Texas quarterback. It's not like you're just rolling out you or me. No disrespect to us. We could be athletic geniuses in our own right. Just pure weapons, that right arm of yours. But they're rolling out a formidable quarterback there who won them the game in overtime. So who knows? We'll see. Man, if Vandy can go to Texas, not an easy place to play, and get that win, we're hitting panic mode for that Thanksgiving game here in Knoxville. This one, I had to put it on. It hurts, but it's like just the what could have been. You talk about if we had last year's defense, that's an alternate universe. What is the alternate universe where Penn State goes to Ohio State? Preseason, we looked at this could have been 1 versus 2. And 2 could have been Ohio State. Penn State could have been the number 1 team in the country. But man, we have a 3-4 Nittany Lion squad. James Franklin-less Nittany Lion squad going to the aforementioned buzzsaw that is the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think the buzzsaw's going to keep rolling. This is a Penn State team that, pains me to say,
They're done.
looks dead in the water. They've rolled over. All their players have moved on to next year. And it's a shame because they're one double overtime game away from potentially being still undefeated and, like you said, maybe the number one team in the country. And now they're on a 4-game losing streak and have fired James Franklin. So it's crazy how things change.
Just like that. And hopefully they get the hire right and they move on to greater things and they're back in the playoff hunt next year, but you just never know. Moving on, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, one of the coolest rivalry game nicknames, that is number 5, Georgia, at a Billy Napier-less Florida. That's in Jacksonville. Stadium's kind of split down the middle, much like the Red River Shootout that we covered a few weeks ago. Cool little game. Don't really expect much of a ball game. I mean, Florida always puts up a fight, especially early in this one. I think it's around a touchdown, maybe a little bit more spread. But George, it's not like you're playing in Gainesville. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like this is
it's not
as
playing in the
neutral
swamp,
as it gets.
but Florida is still a talented team. Like, they were a top 15 team to start the year. Maybe they get the interim coach boost like you see around the country whenever a team has their head coach fired. But neutral site makes it a little bit easier. But still, rivalry games are rivalry games. Doesn't matter. Like, both teams are going to get up for this game. And my guess is Florida hangs around for a little bit and then Georgia eventually wears them down and pulls away late.
Totally. The Gators have a top 15 roster. Is it a top 15 team with all the losses? Probably not. Again, they don't even have a head coach. But talent-wise, I mean, those guys, they can go up against anybody in the conference and by that definition, anybody in the country too. So, I mean, if they can, in that locker room, identify their season as, hey, we're going to go play spoiler, who knows? We got a big game down there here in a little bit too. So not a team you want to overlook. The college game day location, I think the second time this season they're going to Utah. They have number 17 Cincinnati, who beat up on my Iowa State Cyclones. That was one of my playoff predictions. They're so far out of it now. At number 24, the Utes. Any thoughts here?
I think Utah pulls that out. I think their coach is really good. They got a dynamic quarterback. They're a relatively tough place to play. The cross-country trip a little bit. I like Utah, man. They're an underrated team. I think I said this before. People forget that they ran the Pac-12 for like a good 3 or 4 year stretch. Like, they still got that coach. They're a good team that people are overlooking. Now
that Gundy's fired at Oklahoma State, he's one of, if not the longest tenured head coach in FBS. I mean, Whittingham has been there forever. He was potentially up for the Tennessee job in like 2009. I mean, forever ago, he's been around, winning a lot of games up there in Utah. And the last one, not a ranked matchup, but I think interesting because, I want to stay away from like the coaching carousel. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit next week, just because it doesn't really fit into the show. We're trying to keep pace with how we have this thing set up. But a game that could potentially add to this coaching carousel madness is Kentucky at Auburn. And I haven't heard a ton of buzz about Mark Stoops at Kentucky. They're 0-4 in the conference. Not making a bowl game, probably not winning 4 ball games. I think they're 2-6 now. I mean, it's an ugly season already. But Kentucky, I just think they've kind of punted on football from an athletic department standpoint. But Auburn, Hugh Freeze is getting some flack, big time.
He is, and rightfully so. But you flip a couple plays in some of their games, and they're a top 15 team. Like, they got, for lack of better terms, screwed against Georgia. I mean, the ref in that game literally got suspended for the rest of the year. If that doesn't tell you something about what happened in that game, I don't know what does. But yeah, I mean, if Kentucky beats Auburn, he might not get fired on Sunday the way Kelly has and other guys, but he's probably looking at it at the end of the year.
It looks tough, and I think he's recruiting very well.
Yeah.
So that's the one kind of ace in his pocket. Is you kick me out the door, you lose all these guys coming in the 26 class and even the 27 class. But games get the referee getting suspended is a great example. I'm glad you brought that up. That stinks, but it's year 3. if that happens year 1, year 2, you're like, okay, we got a guy, ball didn't bounce our way, we'll move on. Greater things are, in our future. But year 3 and you're still, you're starting 0-3 in conference play. You don't have a quality quarterback play. He hasn't had a consistent quality quarterback play yet.
My problem is, like, in today's day and age, everybody wants to win now. Like, that's just what it is. And if you're at LSU, I get it. Florida, I get it. Penn State, I mean, it was year 12 or 13. So, like, we were way past win now. But, like, you got to give these guys a chance to build a program, especially when they're not already starting, 5 steps ahead of everybody else. Like, nobody's going to make the argument that Auburn was a superpower before he got there. So, like, the fact that he is recruiting well and has all these guys coming in, I would like to see them give him more of a chance.
I'm with you. We'll see. Again, you win this weekend, doesn't really matter. It's just keep rolling. I don't think the seat gets colder, but it definitely doesn't get hotter. Okay, on to the matchup that we care about. One of the marquee matchups. Honestly, was surprised that game day didn't come here. Obviously, they were here for Georgia, but going to Utah, I guess, have fun. It'll be cold. A lot warmer here in Knoxville. The first home night game of the year. Last year, Will Watkins sat in that seat, and we were complaining about night game after night game after night game, and we're like, man, this is terrible. Give us a noon kick, please. Well, it's been the script has been completely flipped. I am so pumped that we get a night kickoff. One, because it's dark mode, the uniforms are sick. The release video was awesome. That's up on the Ball Football page, the Rock Media page. We reposted it. Man, our social media team here at the University of Tennessee deserves all the kudos, all the praise, all the likes, all the shares. They rock. But Neyland Stadium gets another level. I know we count decibels, whatever. I mean, it gets to another level once that sun goes down. And the fact that we're kicking off now that it's November and the sun sets at like 4 p.m., it's going to be awesome. That environment, for anyone that's forgotten, in case you have a short-term memory loss, sometimes like myself, Oklahoma, I don't know, knows what's coming for them.
No, I agree. Like, I don't think they've really played a superpower in the SEC at night yet. Like, this game is going to be a rude awakening from the jump. I mean, we talked about the whiteout game. Like, this is a little bit of our whiteout game. Like, teams lose that game when they walk out of the locker room because the crowd is so loud and it's so intimidating. And that's what Oklahoma's walking into.
100%. What do you think? Give me, if you're Oklahoma right now, 2 losses. Well, let's just elephant in the room. This is an elimination game. Loser of this is done in terms of playoff contention. Both 2 losses. Oklahoma coming off that, a pretty poor performance against Ole Miss. Obviously, Tennessee carrying their 2 losses in as well. If you're Oklahoma, how are you feeling about this? Is this just a get-right game, or are we feeling good about this? Or what is your mantra if you're Brent Venables and that staff and that team walking into Neyland Saturday night?
I think it's just do what you did in the third quarter of that game last week. Like, they didn't look bad. They still don't look like the team from the first 4 weeks of the year before Mateer broke his hand. But they started to get going a little bit. And I think if you're Venables, you pull from that and you say, look, crowd's going to be intense, but we stick to our game and do what we do best, which is play physical offense and physical defense. We can slow them down and win this game.
100%. It's very, I think the game scripts are complete opposites, right? Yeah. If we are walking out Saturday night, maybe early Sunday morning, depending on how long this game goes, and the traffic and all that too, and we're disappointed Vols lost. I think it's very low scoring. I think Oklahoma dominated time of possession, and we had some turnovers. If the Vols win, I think we just lit it up. I mean, that is the matchup, the most high-profile matchup, the one that'll make College Game Day is Joey Aguilar, Chris Brazzell, all those receivers, the Vols offense against that Oklahoma defense. I mean, they have been building, obviously, Venables, former DC at Clemson. He is a defensive-minded coach. They've been building what they have right now for years with just, like, prayers of, like, hey, can we get a quarterback who can sling it? Well, they have one. that is the matchup, is our offense, their defense, the winner there. I mean, I think if you walk out of this game and Joey's got one or less turnovers and you just let it rip, the crowd noise behind you, I really don't think there's a chance. I think this game can get ugly pretty quickly. But I'll say for an Oklahoma offense who started through 2-3 weeks, had the Heisman frontrunner. No one was really going to correct you on that one. Breaks his hand, miracle surgery, comes back in like 30 seconds, is back now with an offense that's maybe just starting to click again. Don't love the fact that our defensive unit seems to be like the handicap of this team.
Yeah. I mean, we said it before, like last year's defense versus this year's defense. This defense is not good. Can't tackle, can't cover. Doesn't help that Colton Hood is potentially out. Jermod, Ricky. I mean, we're going to have to put up points, would be my guess, because if they figure out a way to slow this game down, I think we are toast because I don't see our defense getting a ton of stops. So for us to win this game, it's going to be very possession-based, and how many possessions do you get? Because if this game goes away, I think it could go. You're looking at a similar final score to last week, right? Like we're putting up 40, 50 points and they're in the 30s. Like, because I don't see our defense stopping them.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I mean, if that's the style of game that we, as we're sitting here, we're filming this on Tuesday, y'all will see this early Friday morning. If that's the game plan that Joey Halsley and Tim Banks and Josh Heupel, if they're all sitting in a room saying, okay, like it's a possession game. It's who's going to have the ball last. If we're okay with that, we go into it. Like, I think a great part, an important part of coaching is understanding, hey, what do we have? Don't fit a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't make sense to do that. So if we're going to play, press man and try to get him behind the sticks on first down and then, force him into passing, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like if we need to bail our corners out and give up the intermediate and capitalize off, some mistakes in that part, score a couple defensive touchdowns like we did last week, well then so be it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I saw last week too that I've been preaching is you gotta let your best player be the decision maker, and when that comes, the ball has to be in Joey's hand. It has to be his decision with it. We saw it on the pick six against Bama. While he threw the pick six, that play wasn't his decision. It was miles or nothing. But you flip it to last week, you had a similar thing at the end of the half. All of a sudden, you drop back pass, he makes the right decision, hits Ethan Davis, touchdown. Like, all the big moments in this game when we're on offense, it has to be Joey's decision. Otherwise, we're going to lose. Like, it can't be a run. It can't be a read option. It can't be a rollout that has one guy as a choice. It has to be his decision and his decision solely, because we've seen what happens when it is, and it looks like magic to me. So
I'm with you. And I think, we're 8 games in to the Joey Aguilar tenure at Tennessee. The dude's gained trust. He's got his teammates behind him. He's got his coaches behind him, and he's got the fans too. So that's a great take. I'm going to double down on it 100%. Let him take this team to victory Saturday night. It's like a 3-point spread at this point. I think Vols cover. I think this game gets ugly. I think it's tough, very physical in the beginning, but I think, we got the receivers nobody can run with. And, we're a bend, don't break defense. And I think we're going to bend, and I don't think we're going to break. Maybe you're going to see another defensive score. I think we're walking out of here Saturday night. We're happy. We're celebrating a win. Everyone's wearing their dark mode, and we're still in the playoff hunt. And that is all that matters.
Absolutely. That is all that matters.
Survive and advance, baby. That is all I have for more steam. Any lasting thoughts to leave our watchers, our viewers?
Go Bulls. Let's get it.
Dark mode, Neyland Stadium, November 1st, man. Winning time. Let's get this done. We'll see you next week.